Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how to put together the DAD toolbox from Simply Crafty SVGs. So here are the parts. You also could have some optional panels, so you don't have to put DAD. There's some panels that also come with the file if you prefer to do it something different. But we'll start with the handle. So I'm trying to get in there to show you that the sides fold down and then all the little tabs fold down. So it's really not that hard to glue together. We just want to glue those little tabs around the front and back edges just to get a little bit of a three-dimensional handle look. I could have just done a plain piece of paper, or you kind of curved it around, but I like the 3D element, at least giving it a hint of it. And just so you know, as you're doing this, you just want to make sure that you line up that edge with the tab fold, and it'll fold down so it's scored, so it'll fold down properly. So you just make sure you fold all those score lines, whether you have dash lines or I kind of do a little kiss cut, or if you use something like the Cricut score tool. And I always try to keep what I'm using as a wet paper towel for excessive glue. I try not to do it, but inevitably it happens. So again, I'm just matching up these side edges to the tab folds of these little tabs on both sides. And then the very ends of the handle, they just kind of, you can fold them down then kind of upwards because we'll glue it on that way. But we're just doing this first, and then we'll put it aside, and then we'll put together the actual box, which is quite simple. And then we'll add this at the very end. So hopefully you can see it. I was making sure that it was bright enough. It's always hard to create video assemblies with black, and sometimes I forget by the time I start. So now that's done, we're going to put that aside so you can see those little ends kind of fold up, and that's how it'll attach. So now we'll put the box together. So regardless, here's the other alternative. You can put these panels on, and I do suggest you put the panels on before you put together the box, but I did not do that. I just forgot to add it before. But that DAD, we're going to do the DAD portion. But there's just 3 little panels if you want to do it the other way, and that's the way the box opens and closes into a little slot. And just know the handle's decorative only. I mean, that slot's not going to hold it, so you can't really hold the actual box by the handle. So we want to take these 2 big box pieces and gently fold them on the score lines. One thing that you'll also want to do, you can tell this is the top piece, is to fold backwards on where the actual lid will go back and forth, which is the third score line shown from the right. Then it'll open up better. I just forgot to do that here, but you'll see me do it in a step further on. And this is the bottom and sides, and you can tell by the little slot things. We have a slot for the top, and then that little hole for the bottom to put that slot. Not to put the slot, to put that little tab. Okay, so for here you want to just put a bead, and no more than a bead, just like you're seeing, of glue to fold this over. And you want to do it gently. You don't want to glue the whole thing because you have to have a little tab that goes in. I wanted it to try to close, so it'll be on the inside, but I'm just going to show you how it would go on the inside. You just won't see it. So that just slides in there just to kind of close the box once you have something in it. And then we're just going to flip it around, and you can see how we're going to put it together. So you're going to add glue to this bottom tab, and you can tell based on where the slots are. The slot is on the, just make sure you're not gluing near that slot that we just folded over. We're going to line up this edge, this left edge, to the inside tab fold, making sure it's centered. So it should be easier for you. I can't get right on top of it. Usually I'm right on top of it, but with the video going, sometimes I can't exactly see it. You just don't want to go over that fold line, and just line it up and just apply lots of pressure. You see how it's kind of going to come together. So there's a couple options. You could glue the lid first, but we're going to do this side. So we can just go ahead and fold over one of the side pieces and line it up. Make sure the edge is lined up to the tab fold and that it's centered on that section. And once you get it in place, you can apply pressure by flipping it over and reaching in. But make sure it's in place first. And this is where I was folding that back. I forgot to fold it back, but you want to fold it back because it'll be easier to open and close. And it gets it out of your way. Just showing you that how it bends back and forth. And then there's this tab on the bottom. So there's really no exact order. You could do the bottom tab first and then that side. It's just whatever works for you. And I don't have a panel for the bottom to cover these tabs. This is just one of those boxes that I just expected would be a little gifty item, not display, so I don't worry too much about that as a gift box. But if you're worried about it, you can always just cut out a rectangle to the size and cover the tabs. So we're gluing the other side. And the biggest thing here is just lining it up. I just don't want the tab to show, so that's why I'm gluing the tab on the inside. It just takes a little patience. It really isn't a hard box at all. It just gets awkward in a couple areas. And I put it together a couple different ways. You could put together the lid part first, but there's really no order that will make it easier than harder in a way, other than putting the panel on first. So that would have been helpful. And then we're going to glue these little lid tabs. So they just bend down and glue underneath the adjacent sides. And again, you're just lining up that right edge to the tab fold and making sure it's good and folded. So if you don't score it well, as you can tell, it's kind of bowing on me. I didn't score that really well. So that's what happens when you don't really, not score. I didn't fold it well on the score. That's what I should have said. And then doing the other one and just making sure it's lined up best I can. Because it'll look better. The less it's lined up, the more it will kind of bow out on the sides, on the top. So fortunately, paper's pretty pliable. So I'm assuming this would be something like a little gift box for, obviously I targeted Dad, but you could make it for any occasion, for a birthday or anything. It could be a retirement gift, really. It just depends on what kind of job they have. It could be a fishing tackle box. If you just added some fishing cutouts to it. So there's a lot of things you could do with this box. Especially, it's kind of hard sometimes finding masculine designs, and that's kind of why I focus on them. Actually, it's one of the reasons why I have a business. because I wanted to find certain designs that I couldn't, and this is the reason why I do what I do. So we got this last tab glued, and you just want to make sure you hold each tab until it's secure. So I'm going to show you, I had a little trouble closing it. One thing you got to be careful of when you're closing it is making sure you don't have it squished on the top, because this is only to make it look closed when you give the gift. So I'll show you again after I put the panel on, but you want to put a light layer of glue on the back of this dad panel, and you could also use vinyl, but if you do use vinyl, you probably want to put it on before you assemble the actual box. It'll be easier flat. Actually, generically, I would have put this on before I assembled it, any of the panels. So I'm just lining it up. Then flipping it over and adding additional pressure. Always using gravity. Then here, okay, you're going to see that I'm going to have trouble closing this box. And the reason is, if you see on the right, I'm kind of holding it, I'm pushing it in. So make sure it's not pushed in on the back. You see it kind of got like crushed lightly. Just pop it out and then it'll go in. But you see how it's kind of crushed? I can edit video, but I did this on purpose so you could see, just in case you had the same trouble. And you're just kind of gently sliding it in. So the last part is putting on this handle. So I didn't put any marks on for you or anything like that. So you just want to center it. We're just going to add glue to these two little side parts. Before you place it down, trying to get it where you want, and then lightly press it down first just to get it in place. Less glue is always better, just in case you want to wiggle it around. And then you can just flip it up, open, and then apply pressure this way on those two little tabs. And that's it. Again, you have two versions. This is the dad version. I hope some people are able to use it, and you can see I squished it again. Gotta pop it out. So there we have the box, and it's ready to put a small little gift or some candy or gift card or whatever you want to do. I thought it would just be a fun little box to add to the store, and I hope you enjoy the project as much as I did. Thank you for watching.